The Instagram post showed my entire family gathered around the Thanksgiving table, smiling at the camera with perfect lighting. Everyone was there. Everyone except me. I was the one who'd spent 3 days cooking that meal. My phone buzzed 2 days later. It was my son Marcus calling at 11 p.m. on a Friday. I knew before I even answered that he needed money. "Mom, we need to talk." His voice had that tight quality I'd come to recognize over the past 4 years since my husband Robert died. "It's important." I set down my tea. Through my kitchen window, I could see the November moon hanging low over the backyard, where Robert and I used to host barbecues every summer. Our house in suburban Sacramento felt too big now, too quiet. Maybe that's why I'd said yes so many times when Marcus asked for help. "What is it, sweetheart?" "Brianna's been working so hard on her business plan. You know, she's always dreamed of opening her own beauty salon." He paused. "We found the perfect location. The lease is available now, but we need to move fast. The thing is, we need $35,000 for the build-out and equipment." I should have seen it coming. I'd already helped them with their down payment 2 years ago. Then there was the emergency roof repair that turned out to be a kitchen renovation. Brianna posted all over social media. But $35,000? "Marcus, that's a lot of money." "I know, Mom. But this is Brianna's dream. She's so talented. This salon is going to be amazing. And once it's profitable, we'll pay you back. Every penny, I promise." I thought about the look on Brianna's face at Thanksgiving when she'd waved her hand at me in the kitchen doorway. "Linda, could you stay in there? We're filming content and you're in the background." She'd said it so casually, like asking me to pass the salt. My son had nodded in agreement, but he was my only child, and Sophia, their 8-year-old daughter, was the light of my life. "Let me think about it," I said. "Mom, we need to know by Monday. The property owner has other interested parties." I thought about it for exactly 10 minutes after we hung up. Then, I transferred the money. "Where are you watching from today? I'd love to know I'm not alone in this." The salon opened in January with a huge launch party. I saw it all on Instagram. Brianna had over 15,000 followers now, posting daily content about her entrepreneur journey and her blessed life. In every photo, she wore designer clothes I didn't recognize from the department store wardrobe she'd had 6 months ago. I wasn't invited to the opening. Marcus said it was industry people only, and they had a strict guest list. But I could see in the photos that Brianna's sister was there, and her college roommate, and what looked like half the neighborhood. March came with early spring rain. My phone rang during one of my oncology follow-up appointments. I'd been in remission for 2 years, but the checkups every 3 months still made my stomach tight with anxiety. I was sitting in the waiting room, trying to focus on a magazine, when Marcus's name lit up my screen. "Mom? Do you have a minute?" The nurse called my name. I held up one finger. "I'm actually at an appointment, honey. Can I call you back? It's kind of urgent." His voice cracked slightly. "The salon isn't doing as well as we hoped. Brianna's been trying so hard, but the location isn't getting enough foot traffic. We're 3 months behind on the lease, and the landlord is threatening to terminate the contract. We need $50,000 to catch up and cover the penalty fees." I felt something cold settle in my chest. $50,000? I know it's a lot. But if we lose the salon now, Brianna will be devastated, and we'll lose everything we've already invested. Your $35,000, all the inventory, everything. The nurse was waiting. Other patients were watching. "Marcus, I need to call you back." I went through the appointment in a daze. The doctor said everything looked good, no signs of recurrence. I should have felt relief. Instead, I kept thinking about $50,000, about the fact that I'd already given them $35,000 just 4 months ago, about how Brianna never called me, never thanked me, never even acknowledged the money, except through Marcus. That night, I couldn't sleep. I opened Instagram on my phone, something I rarely did. Brianna's feed was public. I scrolled through her recent posts. There she was at a restaurant I knew cost $200 per person, tagged date night goals with Marcus. There she was unboxing a Gucci handbag, treating myself because I work so hard. There, she was showing off new designer shoes, investing in quality pieces. Post after post of expensive purchases, luxury experiences, shopping hauls, all while she was supposedly so broke that my son was calling me in tears about losing the salon. I took screenshots. I didn't know why at the time. Some instinct told me I'd need them. The next morning, I called Marcus back. "I'll transfer the money," I said. "But I need something in return." "Anything, Mom. Thank you so much. I want a written loan agreement with a repayment schedule. And I want monthly financial statements from the salon." The line went quiet. "Mom, we're family. We don't need contracts. If we're family, then you won't mind signing a simple agreement." Brianna's going to be upset. She's already stressed about the business. "Marcus, I'm giving you $50,000. A signature on paper isn't too much to ask." Another pause. "Let me talk to her and call you back." He didn't call back that day. Or the next. On the third day, I got a text. "Brianna's mom helped us out. Thanks anyway." I stared at that message for a long time. Thanks anyway. Like I'd offered to bring a pie to dinner and they'd decided to go with store-bought. I didn't hear from Marcus for 2 weeks after that. Not a phone call, not a text, nothing. Then Sophia's spring break came. Marcus called and asked if I could watch her for the week because they were dealing with business stuff and needed to focus. I said yes. I always said yes to time with my granddaughter. Sophia arrived with a small suitcase covered in stickers. At 8 years old, she was smart, funny, and far more perceptive than her parents realized. We spent the week baking cookies, watching old movies, and working on a puzzle of the Golden Gate Bridge. On the third day, while we were sorting edge pieces, she said something that changed everything. "Mommy says you're rich and selfish." I kept my hands steady on the puzzle pieces. "Oh? When did she say that?" "Last week. Daddy was upset about something, and Mommy said you have all this money from Grandpa Robert and you're selfish for not helping them more." She fitted 2 pieces together, not looking at me. "But you're not selfish, Grandma. You make me cookies and read me stories. Selfish people don't do that." My throat tightened. "What else did Mommy say?" Sophia's little shoulders hunched. "She said we shouldn't expect much from you, that you're getting old and sick and embarrassing." She finally looked up at me, her dark eyes worried. "Are you sick, Grandma?" I pulled her into a hug. "I'm okay, sweetheart. I'm okay." But I wasn't okay. That night, after Sophia went to bed, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop and looked at my finances. Really looked at them. Since Robert died, I'd given Marcus and Brianna approximately $160,000. The down payment on their house, the kitchen renovation, a temporary loan for credit card debt, the salon investment, and those were just the big items. There were dozens of smaller amounts. $1,000 here for car repairs, $2,000 there for unexpected bills, $500 for Sophia's birthday party at the trampoline park. I'd never added it up before. Seeing the number made me feel physically ill. My retirement account had shrunk significantly. My savings were less than half what they'd been when Robert died. And my cancer treatment, even with insurance, had cost me nearly $40,000 out of pocket. I had enough to live on, but not enough to handle another health crisis. Not enough to maintain the house if something major went wrong. Not enough to feel secure. The next day, I did something I'd never done before. I looked up Brianna's salon online and checked the reviews. What I found surprised me. The salon had been open for 3 months, but there were only a dozen reviews. Half of them complained about inconsistent hours. Several mentioned making appointments only to arrive and find the salon closed. One reviewer said she'd been there twice and never seen Brianna, only an employee who seemed confused about the services offered. I called the salon number listed online. It rang 6 times before an automated message picked up. "You've reached Lux Beauty Bar. Please leave a message." I called at different times over the next 2 days. Never once did a real person answer. On Friday afternoon, I drove to the salon. It was in a strip mall 20 minutes from Marcus and Brianna's house. sandwiched between a nail salon and a frozen yogurt shop. The lights were off. A paper sign in the window said, "Closed for training." I sat in my car and watched for an hour. No one came or went. The next day, Sophia went home. Marcus picked her up, barely staying long enough for a conversation. "Thanks, Mom. We really needed this week to focus. How's the salon going?" "Good. Good. Busy. You know how it is." "Marcus, when was the last time Brianna actually worked there?" His expression shifted. "What do you mean?" "I drove by yesterday. It was closed in the middle of the day. We close on Fridays for deep cleaning." "It's on the website." "It wasn't on the website. I'd checked, but I let it go." What would arguing accomplish? 2 weeks later, Marcus called again. This time his voice was different, desperate. "Mom, we need to talk in person. Can I come over tomorrow?" He arrived at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, looking like he hadn't slept. We sat at the kitchen table, where I'd fed him breakfast for 18 years, where Robert had helped him with homework, where we'd celebrated his acceptance to college. "The salon failed," he said without preamble. "We're closing it. The landlord is suing us for the remaining lease payments. We owe $90,000. I felt nothing. Just a strange, cold numbness. Did Brianna ever actually work there? He looked down at his hands. She tried. But it was harder than she thought. The hours, the customers, managing employees. She got overwhelmed. So what happened to the money? The $85,000 from Brianna's mother and me? Some of it went to the build-out. Some to inventory and equipment. The rest, he trailed off. The rest went to designer handbags and expensive dinners. His head snapped up. "How did you—" "I'm not blind, Marcus. I have Instagram." We sat in silence. Outside, a neighbor was mowing their lawn. Normal Saturday sounds. Normal life continuing, while mine cracked apart. "I need you to help us with the lawsuit," Marcus finally said. "If we don't settle, they'll garnish my wages. We could lose the house." "The house I helped you buy?" "Mom, please. We're desperate." I thought about Sophia telling me I was selfish. About being banned from family photos. About Brianna's Instagram feed full of luxury while my son cried poverty. About my retirement account that kept shrinking. About my next oncology appointment in 2 weeks. "Marcus, I need to tell you something." I met his eyes. "My cancer isn't gone." His face went white. "What? You said you were in remission." "I am. But remission doesn't mean cured. It means I need monitoring for the rest of my life. It means regular scans, blood work, appointments. It means that any day, I could get a phone call saying it's back. And if it comes back, the treatment will cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. But your insurance covers some of it, not all, never all." I pulled out my laptop and opened a spreadsheet. "This is what I've given you in the past 4 years. $160,000. This is what I have left in savings and retirement. This is what my cancer treatment cost last time. This is what it could cost if it comes back." He stared at the numbers. "I can't help you with the lawsuit, Marcus. Because I need to help myself first. But we're your family." "Yes. And for 4 years, I've put your family's wants ahead of my own needs. Your wife's salon dream ahead of my medical security. Brianna's designer bags ahead of my retirement. And where has it gotten me? Uninvited to family events. Called selfish by your wife. Erased from your family photos. That's not fair, Mom. We didn't know you were still worried about the cancer. You didn't ask." My voice was steady, calm. "In 4 years, Marcus, you have never once asked me how I'm doing. You call when you need money. You visit when you need a babysitter. But you have never, not once, asked me how I'm really doing." He opened his mouth. Closed it. Tears were forming in his eyes. "I love you," I continued. "You are my son, and I will always love you. But I'm done being your ATM. You're 36 years old. You have a college degree, a good job, and a wife who's capable of working. It's time for you to figure this out on your own. Figure it out? His voice rose. Mom, they could garnish my wages. Then you'll need to negotiate with the landlord. Or declare bankruptcy, or sell some of those designer bags Brianna bought with the money that was supposed to save her business. I stood up. I'm sorry, Marcus. I truly am. But I can't sacrifice my health and security to fix problems you and Brianna created. He left angry. No goodbye hug. No acknowledgement of anything I'd said. Just anger that I'd finally said no. I didn't hear from him for 3 weeks. During that time, I went to my oncology appointment alone. The waiting room was full of people fighting their own battles, some with family members holding their hands. Some, like me, sitting alone with magazines we couldn't focus on reading. The scan came back clear. Still in remission. Still okay. I cried in my car in the parking garage. Not from relief, though I felt that too, but from loneliness. From the realization that I'd spent 4 years trying to buy my son's presence in my life, and it hadn't worked. That evening, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Marcus standing there with Sophia. My granddaughter was holding a piece of paper covered in crayon drawings. Can we come in? Marcus asked quietly. I stepped aside. Sophia ran to me and wrapped her arms around my waist. Grandma, I made you a picture. It's us baking cookies together. See? That's you. And that's me. And those are the chocolate chips. I knelt down to her level, studying the drawing. We were both smiling in the picture, both with our arms full of hearts. It's beautiful, sweetheart. I love it. Daddy said you might be sad, so I wanted to make you happy. I looked up at Marcus. He was still standing near the door, looking uncertain. Sophia, honey, why don't you go pick out a book from Grandma's shelf? I need to talk to Daddy for a minute. She skipped off to the living room. Marcus came to the kitchen table. We sat in our same spots. I talked to a bankruptcy attorney, he said. We're going to file Chapter 7. We'll lose the salon equipment, but we can keep the house and our cars. He took a deep breath. Brianna wasn't happy. She wanted me to ask you again. When I said no, He paused. We had a big fight. About a lot of things. About how we've treated you. About her spending. About priorities. Marcus, let me finish. Please. He looked at me. Really looked at me. For the first time in years. I talked to Sophia after our fight. She told me what Brianna said about you. About you being selfish and embarrassing. And I realized I'd been letting my wife say those things. Letting her treat you like an ATM. Letting her exclude you from our lives while still expecting your money. His voice broke. I'm so sorry, Mom. You were right. I haven't asked how you're doing. I haven't been there for you. I've just taken and never given anything back. I felt my own eyes well up. Your dad would be ashamed of me, he whispered. I know he would. He always said family takes care of family, but he meant it both ways. Not just you taking care of us. We sat there, both of us crying. Through the doorway, I could hear Sophia humming to herself as she looked through books. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, Marcus said. But I want to do better. I want Sophia to know her grandmother, the real you, not the person Brianna made you out to be. And I want to be there for you. For your appointments, for holidays, for regular dinner. Not because you give us money. Just because you're my mom. And Brianna? I told her, things have to change. No more designer bags we can't afford. No more lifestyle we have to finance with debt. And no more disrespecting you. If she can't treat you with kindness, then we're going to have bigger problems than bankruptcy. He wiped his eyes. She's not happy about it, but I meant what I said. I reached across the table and took his hand. I love you, Marcus. I've always loved you. But I needed you to understand that love isn't the same thing as an unlimited bank account. I know. And I'm going to prove it to you. It might take time, but I'm going to prove it. Sophia came running back with 3 books. Can you read to me, Grandma? Please? I looked at Marcus. He nodded. Of course, sweetheart. Let's sit on the couch. We spent the next hour reading together. Sophia nestled between Marcus and me. It was the first time the three of us had just sat together, doing nothing but being together, in over a year. Before they left, Marcus hugged me. A real hug. The kind he used to give me before he got married and moved away and started treating me like a bank instead of his mother. "I'll call you tomorrow," he said, "just to talk, not to ask for anything, just to check in." "I'd like that." After they left, I looked at Sophia's drawing on my refrigerator. Two figures with crayon smiles, surrounded by hearts and cookies. That night, I slept better than I had in months. The next few weeks weren't perfect. Marcus did call, like he promised. But the conversations were sometimes awkward. We were relearning how to talk to each other. Brianna sent me a terse text apology that clearly came at Marcus's insistence, but it was something. More importantly, Marcus started showing up. Not for money, just to show up. He came to my next oncology appointment and sat with me in the waiting room. When the doctor said I was still in remission, he cried with relief. He brought Sophia over one Saturday, and we all worked in my garden together, planting flowers for spring. He called one Tuesday evening just to tell me about a funny thing that happened at work. Small things. Normal things. The things that had been missing. I also learned something about myself during this time. I'd been so afraid of being alone after Robert died that I'd tried to buy my way into relevance in my son's life. I'd equated my value with what I could provide financially. But that Tuesday, when Marcus called just to chat, when he didn't need anything except to hear my voice, I felt something shift. I realized my value wasn't in my bank account. It was in being here, being present, being grandma and mom. 3 months after that difficult conversation at my kitchen table, Marcus called and asked if I'd like to come to dinner at their house. "Brianna's cooking," he said. "Well, attempting to cook. It might be terrible. But she wants you there." I arrived to find Sophia's artwork taped to the refrigerator, including the one she'd drawn of us baking together. The table was set for 4, and yes, Brianna's pot roast was slightly overdone, but it was edible. After dinner, Brianna asked if she could talk to me privately. We went to the back porch while Marcus did dishes, and Sophia did homework. "I owe you a real apology," Brianna said. She wasn't looking at me, just staring out at their backyard. Not a text message Marcus made me send. A real one. I waited. "I was jealous of you," she said quietly. "You had this life with Robert. You had savings and security. You had Marcus's respect and love just by being his mom, and I felt like I had to compete for his attention. So I spent money trying to create this perfect Instagram life, trying to prove I was worth as much as you. But all I did was create debt and make everyone miserable." She finally looked at me. "I said terrible things about you. I excluded you from family things. I treated your money like it was ours by right, and I'm sorry, truly sorry." "Thank you," I said simply. "I'm going back to work," she continued. "Not a salon, just a regular job at a marketing firm. Marcus and I are in financial counseling. We're selling a bunch of my clothes and bags to help pay off debt, and I deleted Instagram. Cold turkey. That app was poison for me." "That's brave," I said, and I meant it. "I want Sophia to know her grandmother," Brianna said. "The real you. Not the version I invented in my head because I was insecure. Is that okay?" "It's more than okay." We went back inside to find Marcus and Sophia playing cards at the table. Sophia jumped up when she saw us. "Grandma, can you stay for game night? Please?" I looked at Marcus. At Brianna. At my granddaughter's hopeful face. "I'd love to," I said. And I meant that too. Months passed. Then a year. Marcus kept his promise about showing up. Brianna and I would never be best friends, but we developed a respectful relationship. Most importantly, Sophia got to know me as more than just someone who gave presents on birthdays. I'm still in remission. My savings are slowly growing again. I keep a boundary now, a clear line between help and enabling. When Marcus and Brianna needed a new water heater last month, they called a plumber and paid for it themselves. Marcus called me afterward just to tell me they'd handled it, proud of solving their own problem. That phone call meant more to me than any thank you for money ever had. Last week was Thanksgiving. This time, when Brianna posted photos to her new, smaller Instagram account, I was in them. Right there at the head of the table, with my family around me. The caption read, "Grateful for the people who love us enough to tell us the truth, even when it's hard to hear." I commented with a single heart emoji. Because sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone isn't money. It's boundaries. It's forcing them to grow up. It's refusing to enable them into staying children forever. And sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is the permission to choose your own well-being first, even when it feels selfish, even when it feels hard. Especially then. Where are you watching from today? Have you ever had to make a difficult choice between helping someone you love and protecting yourself? I'd love to hear your story in the comments below.